2011 civic election have now closed, and we are live. Actually, very proud to be the only television network on Vancouver Island broadcasting civic election results live to you for the central Vancouver Island region. We are at the Shaw Auditorium in the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in Nanaimo. I'm Kate Bergen.
And I'm Annette Lucas. And yes, I sound a bit rough. I have laryngitis, but I feel great, and I wouldn't miss the event for anything.
And we're glad to have Annette here with us tonight. Voter turnout in municipal elections is traditionally, historically low, averaging only about 30%. Now, is that because of voter apathy, or is it about disillusionment in the democratic process on a local level? It's argued that civic elections have more direct effect on your life than federal elections do, yet more of us turn out to vote in national elections.
That's right, Kate. And analysts have been trying to figure out for years why that's so, not just here in Canada, but it's a problem in the U.S. as well. In fact, some argue that voters are calculating what the benefit is to themselves. They'll try to say, how much time does it take for me to learn who all those people are that are running and what the issues are? And then if the issue happens to be a common theme, such as low taxation, nobody gets excited. But if it's a single issue that's prominent, that's something like low barrier housing or getting that conference centre built, it could drive people to the polls here in Nanaimo.
And advanced polls are showing that there are a lot of municipalities in the central Vancouver Island that have some engaging, perhaps polarizing issues that they're dealing with. Advanced polls on the central island are generally up, and I do want to make note of Lantzville. It's a very small community. In 2008, they had less than 100 people turn out to cast their vote at the advanced polls. This year, they had 246. So that absolutely, Annette, support what you were saying about how polarizing, controversial issues can drive people to those polls.
And we might see that in several areas, as you say, as well. And just to let you know what's happening here tonight, we're live in the auditorium, but we've also sent Shaw TV reporters to the streets to find out what voters are talking about, what's on their mind, what's on their issues. And the first place we're going to visit this evening is with Jen Morantz down in Duncan to find out what she learned on the streets.
The City of Duncan has spent the last few years wrapping up some uncompleted projects, such as the Centennial Park redevelopment. But this term, there's a few new concerns weighing on voters' minds.
Right now, I have some concerns about employment in the Cowichan Valley. There seems to be lots of jobs, but lots of people out of work.
Harm reduction services for IV drug users, because everybody deserves proper access to health care.
The transit system around here?
Traffic lights. When you come in here from Glenora and you make the turn in, you get that light right here at the corner of Trunk Road and Canada Avenue. You've got a 1 second delay between the two lights, and you got to put your brakes on and stop, and then you haven't even come to a stop yet and it's turned green. And there's a few other places where it's the same way. Somebody's got to set up the light system a lot better.
It's the downtown core sidewalks, particularly from a pedestrian point of view. The sidewalks seem to be designed for driveways, entrance and exits, not for pedestrians, and that's bad.
I've lived in the city for about 3 years now, and I think it's been quite well run, and as long as they keep things under control and don't get out of hand with their spending, I can't foresee any real problems.
This term, there's 2 council members not seeking re-election, and one of which that's decided to go head-to-head with incumbent Phil Kent for the position of mayor, which means we're going to be seeing at least 3 new faces in City Hall this year. And competition is fierce. There's 12 people running for council, 7 of which are female. So depending on how the votes fall, the female voice could be a powerful one. In Duncan, for Shaw TV's live election coverage, I'm Jen Morantz.
Thank you. If you're just joining us, we are live at the Shaw Auditorium in Nanaimo for Decision 2011. That was Jen Morantz in Duncan providing a glimpse on the issues in that city. She mentioned there are only 2 vying for the top job for mayor. Well, that vote could go down to whose style residents like the most. Paul Fletcher has sat on council for 2 terms and has incumbent Mayor Phil Kent. And one is seen as the idealist, the other the pragmatist. So either way, it could come down to the style. And no matter which way it is, there'll be a vacant seat on council with a new face because one of them has to give up their seat. Kate?
Well, thanks, Annette. It is getting loud. You can feel the excitement building here at the Shaw Auditorium. We are live. I see several of the candidates in the running already making their appearance tonight. Traditionally, candidates and supporters and the general public gather here in the Shaw Auditorium as the results are posted poll by poll on the big screen behind us. We will be bringing those results as they become available, as well as updating you on results from other municipalities in the central Vancouver Island region. We're going to go to Ladysmith now. Now, many coastal municipalities on Vancouver Island have to deal with or have the opportunity to ask, how can we best utilize our waterfront? And that's exactly what is going on for people in Ladysmith. Here is Rayanne LaPlante.
The town of Ladysmith has some long-standing issues, and perhaps with the new faces in this upcoming election, we'll put into motion new ideas. 3 of the 8 candidates running for the 6th seats in council are new to the playing field. Rob Hutchins, mayor since 1993, is seeking re-election to make it his 7th term in office. But unlike last year, he'll have some competition. A new face to politics, and has only called Ladysmith her home since 2009, Regan Grill is also running for mayor and says political offices thrive with new blood, new ideas, and a fresh perspective. But will new ideas be enough to ignite change and douse public concerns? What are the main issues people want resolved?
A lot of people want to know what's going to happen to the waterfront area. It's been an issue with every council that's been going on for quite some time.
The waterfront and
needs a lot of work there, I'm sure.
what to do with the waterfront, that's quite contentious. Jobs, mostly.
The slow economy in the commercial section of the town.
Anything that provides work.
The development of the waterfront and just development in general.
We have a beautiful waterfront and nothing down there. If visitors come to Ladysmith, there isn't a hotel, a good restaurant, a theatre. There's very little.
I love it the way it is right now. It's a small town feel, and that's what I like.
It'd be nice to have something for the kids to go at nighttime. Like, it's colder than a witch out here, so, it'd be nice to pool. All that's what we used to have when we were kids.
There isn't an issue. I think everything is done beautiful. I was born in this town, and the changes in it are absolutely magnificent.
Well, I'd have to tell you I'm a visitor, and I'm just looking for moorage down at the docks, and that seems to be an issue because there's not a lot of room, and the government dock won't let anybody come in unless you're a fisherman, even though they're supposed to. So that's my issue of the day.
People want to develop the town into a more sustainable and accessible community, with the main issue, as it has been for many years, to enrich the waterfront's beauty and functionality. With an overwhelming desire for change, this election holds a lot of potential to make that happen. In Ladysmith for Shaw TV's live coverage, I'm Rayanne LaPlante.
Yes, a very small town feel in Ladysmith for sure, and a beautiful waterfront there. Of course, what to do with it? Maybe we'll have some more answers in the next few minutes. You are watching live Decision 2011 coverage on the Central Island region of Vancouver Island. I'm Kate Bergen. I'd just like to make a note in Ladysmith there that at an all-candidates meeting, as reported by the Ladysmith Chronicle, Regan Grill, who's running for mayor, actually lives in Cassidy, which is part of the regional district of Nanaimo. Is that going to affect her success tonight? Well, it didn't seem to have any effect on John Rattan's success back in 2008, because John Rattan, the current mayor of Nanaimo, actually lives in Lantzville. Now, we are going to be bringing you live results from all of the municipalities on central Vancouver Island: Duncan, Ladysmith, Nanaimo, Lantzville, Parksville, Qualicum Beach, and Port Alberni. But first, we are setting the scene, so to speak, in those municipalities as we wait for the results to come in. Annette?
Thank you very much, Kate. Well, looking at the results that are coming in here now, people are getting excited. We'll find out more about those in a while, but right now we're going to go to Lantzville with Jocelyn Matwee. That community has been in the news over the last year pertaining to the urban farming issue, and some see securing water source as the more pressing concern in that community because they can't do any development without water. Nanaimo's doing a deal with them, but maybe there won't be enough water in Nanaimo either. John Rattan has said that we will run out of water in about 10 years, so we'll see what happens in Lantzville.
The district of Lantzville is known for its small community charm, and its residents here feel strongly in ensuring that it remains that way. As the campaigning for the municipal election comes to a close, we ask residents here what they feel is the key issue that needs to be addressed by their new council.
That's going to be the farming issue, I believe.
Probably the bylaw and the water issues are the most important, I would think, yeah.
What's been going on with the whole farming and water issue?
I think we need to have a council that comes in that addresses more than one issue, that takes the needs of the whole community into their conscious decision.
And making sure that everybody gets their just due, and make sure that it's not just between a couple of neighbors, that they're doing something to make it right for everybody who operates small business out of their house, I think.
We obviously need water. My understanding of the procedure so far is we have a property owner here that has offered to step up and help our community move forward.
The future is now, right? And they, aging population, things have to change in the village, I think, a little bit, land use, etc. But I think they're basically doing a good job for what Lantzville needs right now.
I think they've been doing a really good job. I think that they're paying a lot of attention to it, and I think that they're listening to everybody that lives here, all the residents, and what they really want from it. So I don't think there's any need for change, but I hope things keep going the way they've been going.
I've noticed that our incumbents are embracing that idea, and they're looking towards the future of Lantzville, not only for seniors, but for young families that are here. So in a nutshell, I think we need to have a well-balanced, experienced council that's in there that understands that we have stakeholders in this community that want to see it move forward with controlled and experienced people at the helm.
Revitalization of the village center, maintaining a balanced budget, and improving water quality are just a few of the challenges Lantzville's new council will be faced with. In Lantzville, for Shaw TV's live election coverage, I'm Jocelyn Matwee.
And that was Jocelyn Matwee in Lantzville giving us some insight what's happening on the streets there. Interesting to note, Lantzville has only been a municipality since 2003, so it's relatively young. And one thing I found interesting in the mayor's race is that challenger Jack de Jong said if elected, he would reduce the number of councillors from 7 to 5, saying the district costs taxpayers too much money. Now we'll move to Parksville. Now Parksville and Qualicum Beach are very similar as far as their issues. Both have been long desirable residences for seniors. And in fact, they have two of the oldest populations in Canada, with Qualicum ranking number 1 and Parksville coming in at number 3. And we're going to go see Melissa Hall, who takes us a view of Oceanside.
The four main issues at the forefront in the Parksville area are around the official community plan, urgent health care facility, a water treatment facility, and development. We're here at Wembley Mall to find out which one of these issues is of most concern to its citizens.
My biggest concern, I think, is development in the area.
The water treatment,
the health facilities,
the medical issues,
the OCP.
Because I've had a heart attack. The water tastes yucky where we live.
I just want to keep not another tall building on the beach. I'd like to see fewer empty stores, empty shops.
I would like to see the water being improved and also the health care.
Probably the health care facility is a bigger issue for me.
There's a lot of elderly people here, like myself. We have to go to Nanaimo.
It's very inconvenient for us, even though it doesn't seem like far to go. If something happens on the Island Highway, we don't have a choice. We don't have an indirect route to get off that highway, and if there's an emergency, it's pretty bad.
It would be nice if there was a place to go rather than being rushed to Nanaimo.
If the responses are any indication of what the community wants, it would seem that the urgent health care facility is at the top of the list. With 12 candidates running for council, 5 of whom are incumbents, it'll be interesting to see if things remain status quo or major changes occur. In Parksville, for Shaw TV's election night coverage, I'm Melissa Hall.
Thank you very much, Melissa Hall. And just to note that Parksville's voter turnout in the advance polls was 683, which is slightly lower than the election in 2008. There are 9,344 eligible voters in Parksville. Now, results are starting to come in from some of the polls here in Nanaimo. We are live from the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Center in downtown Nanaimo. The printout on the screen is very tiny, and so behind me you can probably see everyone squinting their faces up and taking notes and I'm getting as close to the big screens as possible so that they can see the results. And I'm getting some of them slipped to me now. We are just at about 15 minutes past 8 o'clock. John Rattan is in first place. This is all preliminary and still very early at 5,146 votes. Now, as far as councillors go, we have, and this is George Anderson is in 4,202 votes. Bill Bestwick, Diane Brennan, Ted Greaves, Diana Johnstone, Jim Kipp, Zenny Martman, and Fred Patchy. Many of those are here in the auditorium tonight, and if they are successful, because these are very early in the polls, we'll have feature interviews with them later on during our live coverage of the 2011 civic election results from the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in downtown Nanaimo. We're going to continue setting the tone and the mood in the various municipalities across the island for you as we move now to Qualicum Beach. Here is Kelly Robinson.
Qualicum Beach has a real small town feel that many of the residents would like to see stay that way. With the municipal election coming up, growth is one of the issues.
We're quite happy with the way it's being run and kept the way it is.
Well, I think that we need a hospital in this area. We seem to be caught between three hospitals with a lot of people in the middle, and I think we could do much better than we are.
Although people have been working very, very hard to try and get something reasonable for this area, we're not getting what the people wanted. So that's the biggest issue, is the minimal amount of healthcare.
Restricted growth is my priority. Other than that, I think the town is quite well run by the people that are already in power, so I'm happy with what I've got, I guess.
One of the important issues is education and to keep our schools open.
Well, I think the issues for downtown Qualicum Beach are sustaining the downtown environment while allowing sufficient growth to be able to maintain the quality that we have.
To keep the town as is. You know, it's a nice small community. That's what we want.
Upgraded bus service would be much appreciated.
There's not much for like teenagers to do around, besides like the pool, but that's only for certain age groups, I'd say.
Yeah.
There's nothing really for older teenagers to do.
Basically just keeping it the way it is without a lot of bringing in a lot of big stores and stuff like that.
KSS being shut down.
Closing of the school.
To keep KSS open because a lot of us students come up at lunchtime and we like to support the local businesses.
Tunis Westbrook has served as mayor in Qualicum Beach for the last 12 years, and he is seeking re-election. With only one other candidate running for mayor, Mike Wansink. There's 9 candidates running for council and only 4 seats to fill. In Qualicum Beach, for Shaw TV's live election coverage, I'm Kelly Robinson.
Thank you very much, Kelly Robinson. Qualicum Beach, another quaint little town on central Vancouver Island, not unlike Ladysmith in regards to not wanting to change or get any bigger. They like themselves just the way they are. Will Tunis Westbrook get his 5th term on council? Well, we will know perhaps within moments from now. It's a man who we probably all heard the story, who came to Vancouver Island, saw the beach, fell in love. Years later, he's seeking his 5th term as mayor in Qualicum Beach. Now we're going to head west to Port Alberni. I'm just going to paint the scene here in Nanaimo a little bit more. We have I'm going to turn around, I guess, about 100 people in the Shaw Auditorium here at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in downtown Nanaimo. We are live. It's about 20 past 8, going a guesstimate off the top of my head, and people are crowded around the screens that have very small writing. There are a lot of polls in Nanaimo, and some of those polls are starting to give us their results. And last I had, John Rattan was in the lead for mayor, but as we know from past elections, things change. One more update, and that could all topple over. So nobody is celebrating quite yet. Let's head west to Port Alberni, where Nancy Wilmot has her finger of the pulse on a town that is in transition.
At one time, Port Alberni was the unofficial forestry capital of the world. This was Boomtown. Sadly, those days are gone, and although forestry remains, it's no longer the whole story. This has been a city in transition for a couple of decades, and during the 2011 municipal elections, it's how we steer that transition that has been on voters' minds.
For me, in this election, I think the biggest issue would be diversifying our economy, because I think we're in the middle of a transition, obviously, from being very industry-based to something else, and I think that there's many opportunities out there to be innovative.
I like to see things come to town to make more work for young people, people coming to town. I like to see our town improving again instead of going down.
I didn't know it was any big issue, but everybody else seemed to be yapping about coal. And I didn't know coal was bad. Coal's been around for hundreds of years, and people have been using it for heating and cooking and running trains. And of course, trains have gone to diesel now, but all of that stuff. And I think a lot of people are making a big fuss about coal just for the sake of making a fuss.
Economic development, tourism, diversification, and that proposed coal port, it's all part of the mix. And with 19 candidates vying for the seats on City Council, well, it could come down to just a few votes separating the winners and the losers. As for the mayoral race, well, there are 4 names on the ballot, but one of them, Stacey Gaga, considered by many to be a front-runner, withdrew late. So late that her name still appears on the ballot, something that has the potential to throw off the results. The other 3 candidates, incumbent Mayor Ken McCrae is seeking another term. He's being challenged by former council member John Douglas, as well as Jen Fisher-Bradley, who once again has thrown her name into the ring. All in all, it's been an interesting campaign, and I'm going to be watching the results closely tonight because all bets are off and this really could be anybody's race. In Port Alberni, for Shaw TV's live election night coverage, I'm Nancy Wilmot.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, we are live in the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre for Municipal Election 2011. We are the only network bringing you live results from this election as it happens. And back in 2008 in Port Alberni, Ken McCrae had twice as many votes as his challenger, the closest challenger, which was Jen Fisher-Bradley, who is again running this year. Looking at the results here in Nanaimo, and these are preliminary, they are early in the evening, John Rattan is still holding in first place with over 7,700 votes. George Anderson, 6,400 votes. Bill Bestwick is running in at about 8,099 votes. Diane Brennan at 6,922. Ted Greaves at 6,146. Diana Johnston, 5,820. Jim Kipp, 6,596. Zenny Markman with 3,700. Fred Patchy with 5,600. And Bill McKay at 5,300. So it looks like there could be a couple of new faces as well as some returning councillors this year in Nanaimo. But once again, these are very preliminary. We'll keep you up to date as we can when the numbers come in. In the meantime, Kate is going to talk to somebody here in the auditorium.
Thank you very much, Annette. I am indeed talking to someone very dear to the hearts of Nanaimoites. You know what we learned today? That in Lantzville, they're called Lantzvillagers.
Whoa.
That's what you call people in Lantzville, Lantzvillagers. So I think Nanaimoites has a better ring to it. Kim, you were behind the scenes, very crucial in the Nanaimo's Community Vision Rally 2011. How do you think that set the course, changed the course for the election that we are now in and only moments away from getting results on?
It sure changed the language of this campaign, I think, Kate. I never heard the word vision so much in my life. I almost regret having the vision rally. I wish I would have come up with something that was a little bit more transportable. But I think we got some new candidates who showed up as a result of that vision rally, and that was really the point of it, to ask people to lead, run, and vote. And voting numbers appear to be up. We have people running and we have people leading, so success.
And we have a lot of people live in the Shaw Auditorium tonight, anxiously awaiting. Last call, as Annette updated you on, was John Rattan in the lead. Now, Kim, one of the things, I follow politics a little bit from afar. Ironic that I'm here hosting our live election coverage this year. But I notice in Vancouver, people really garner a slate. That they present a package of candidates and a mayor. And we're not doing that yet in Nanaimo, but I do get the sense that there's some of that going on behind the scenes, which is a little bit new, perhaps, to our civic election climate here in the Harbour City.
I think what we saw this time was one burning issue come out and rise above all the others. And I think we had people lining up on either side of that issue, wishing to endorse candidates. And Far be it for them to say that they were part of a slate. They've obviously all come out and said that they weren't part of any slate, and that the endorsement stood as it was, and I'm sure they all appreciated that endorsement. It's slate politics in Nanaimo. Its time has not come yet.
Maybe next year. 3 years away?
3 years away, 6 years away. In the future, I'm sure. Vancouver grew into it very nicely. Nanaimo, not so much yet.
Okay, well, we're sure glad to have you here tonight. We might bring you back. I do have one more sort of personal question for you. Do you think it's okay, and it is personal, whether people feel okay about announcing publicly which candidates they're supporting, following off a little bit on this slate approach to politics? Are you going to tell me who you're voting for tonight?
Sure, I'd be happy to tell you who I voted for now that it's all over.
But you wouldn't have yesterday.
No. And I drove some older people to the polls today, and it was quite interesting to hear them. When I asked them, how did you vote? They said, mind your own business, young man. Right. So they protect that privacy and that confidentiality, and it's one thing that we hold dear as Canadians, is that the way we vote is quite personal. But I'm quite proud of who I voted for. I don't see enough of the same names up there on the green board tonight, but that's what this is all about, is letting the people have their choice.
It's still very, very early, and things do change with a click of one button and a refresh. Kim Smythe, thank you very much. We'll maybe be celebrating with you later on this evening.
See you later.
Thank you. We're going to throw things up now to Annette Lucas, who actually has with her Bill McKay. Now, Bill McKay, perhaps this election began with the by-election a couple of months ago. Bill McKay did run for that seat. He was unsuccessful. He is running again for a seat on this civic election city council. Annette?
Thank you very much, Kate. She is correct. Bill, you were running for the by-election. You lost it out to Ted Grace, but that didn't deter you from running for politics. You said you'd be back, and you are back. Now, how do you feel seeing yourself up on those numbers right now?
Well, I have to tell you, Annette, I'm absolutely honored to be chosen by the citizens of Nanaimo to represent them in City Council.
As far as looking at the faces that could be on there, some returning faces, what do you see as the biggest challenge that's going to happen when it is actually sworn in, everybody?
Well, I guess what we've got to do is we've got to get on with business as it stands right now. We've got to see what we can do to move the community ahead and deal with some of our issues that have divided the community during this campaign. And now it's going to be all about it being a team.
Okay. Some of the things that you were hoping to see change in council, some of the things that you ran on again?
Well, I still want to open a conversation about the low barrier housing. I don't believe it's the proper delivery model. I still believe there's time to change, and I hope that my team members on council will agree with me.
Do you think there's an opportunity to open something like that back up again and reverse a decision or stall it or just change things a little bit? Because as you say, it's an issue that has to be addressed, very much so.
Well, I think that what we have to do here is we have to live up to the promises and the commitments we made to the province, that we would have public discussion, that we would have public consultation before we announce the sites. We've now got to go out and continue the conversation with the community, because we've all got a stake in this.
Now, do you believe that this was a single issue kind of vote this year?
I think it was one of them. I believe there's also economic issues that we need to look at. We've just come out of tremendous high unemployment. We've got to go out there and really work to attract entrepreneurs and business to the community and attract bright minds and retain bright minds that we have in the community.
All right, it looks like something exciting has been happening here in Nanaimo. Thank you very much, Bill McKay.
Thank
Congratulations on your good showing so far, and we'll see you in the rest of the day. Okay, bye-bye. And I just heard a big cheer and some applause go up. I don't know what's been happening, but I'll let Kate update you now.
Well, Annette, I've been trying to clarify. John Rattan, everyone is coming up to you, giving you a congratulations. I'm going to shake your hand. We are live.
Thank you very much.
You're not sure about yourself because you were standing here waiting to go live. You've got 8,815 votes. From what I hear unofficially, you are in your second term now. How do you feel?
I feel great. You know, it was a good campaign, and it was a fair campaign, and I'm very pleased with the outcome. Really, I wanted 2 terms, and if I am successful, it looks at this point like I will be. I'm very, very pleased indeed.
Why 2 terms?
Well, the first one is a learning curve. You know, I mean, it's amazing how much you have to assimilate in a very short period of time. And then following that, once you get up to speed, 3 years have gone by. And it's not quite that bad, but it seems like that. Now, of course, with the experience behind me of a term, we can get on with some of the more meaningful things. And I'm still convinced some good stuff is going to happen. I really believe that hotel, the Conference Center Hotel, will happen, and I believe the high-speed passenger-only ferry will happen, and I'm sure it's going to happen in the next 3 years. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying I'm sure. There's a difference, you know.
One of the things I'm getting, this could be the council you're working here with, high-tech scribbles on a piece of paper, Bestwick, Brennan, Kip, Anderson, Ted Greaves, Diana Johnson, Fred Patchy, and Bill McKay. So there are some new faces, and there has been talk about an exit strategy for councillors leaving and new councillors coming on. What exactly does that mean?
Well, in the case, we had 3 of the long-term councillors step down, obviously, Bill Hold'em, and we had as well, sorry, I've lost
Lloyd Sherry.
Lloyd Sherry and also Merv Unger.
Right.
And Larry McNabb passed away during the term, too. So
That's a lot of change in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's a huge change, you know. I mean, remember, there's only 8 councillors, so that's 50% right there. So there'll be some changes, but, you know, change is good. And I think we've got council that we can work with. I know them all, obviously, and I think we've got some good plans ahead of us, and I'm sure we're going to mesh together and work well.
Great. Once again, John, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
And I won't even ask you yet if you're going to go for a term number 3 because you're
you're right. Good ask. Good thing. Don't ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You are watching Decision 2011. It's getting loud in the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in downtown Nanaimo. We are very proud to be the only Vancouver Island television network bringing you live coverage of election results for the Central Vancouver Island region. Now, all of the regions on the Central Island are on electronic voting systems, so we should be getting results in from the other areas: Duncan, Ladysmith, Lantzville, Parksville, and Qualicum Beach. We do have reporters in all of those areas waiting to get those results to us and therefore to you. And just to recap, these are very preliminary, scribbled on a white piece of paper. John Rattan looks like he is re-elected for his 2nd term as mayor. Bill Bestwick also re-elected. Diane Brennan, new to council. Jim Kip, I believe, Brian Anderson, Ted Greaves, Diana Johnstone, Fred Patchy, and Bill McKay. And I do believe that Fred Patchy is standing by with Annette Lucas, and he is obviously a very happy man. Annette Lucas?
You are absolutely right, Kate. Fred Patchy is a very happy man. He said a second ago, it hasn't sunk in yet. Has it sunk in yet, Fred?
No, not yet, but pretty soon it will. I'm kind of grinding the numbers in my own head, and I can tell you that I'm really a happy person. Mostly so because the thing that scared me most during this campaign was the divisive issue of housing first in Nanaimo, where we really do need to, and we want to take care of the homeless amongst us with problems. And to me, the result tonight has shown that Nanaimo is a compassionate community. It's a municipality where we will take care of each other in whichever way it takes. It's not going to be easy. I have very high hopes that at the end of next week, the Ministry of Housing will announce who the operators are going to be for both Uplands and Hammond Bay, as well as Dufferin and Boundary. And I think people will be pleasantly surprised when they find out who the operators are going to be, but also because of that, who the tenancy is going to be. And I'm grateful. I love the fact that George Anderson, a new face, a young guy, is coming on. Bill McKay and I have been on different sides of the spectrum for quite some time, but we can work together. Diana Johnstone, who is such an absolutely wonderful and honest person, and who does just a fabulous job at Parks, Recreation and Culture, is back. Jim Kip somehow has told me that she and I are at the hips, connected at the hips, and we are in many ways. But in this campaign, the work that Parks, Recreation and Culture does is often neglected, and there are major things that Diana and I and some others have achieved over these 3 years. So I'm particularly pleased that we hopefully can continue in that particular function. I'm pleased. It is a good expression of what Nanaimo is about, and I want to thank everybody that voted.
Thank you very much, Fred. Congratulations to you again. And it was great that you acknowledged all these people that you're going to be sitting with council. And we are very excited for everybody here. And thank you again, Fred.
We'll make a good team for the future. I guarantee you.
Thanks, good. That's great. Kate is ready again to talk to some more of the prominent factors that are happening here, the results that are happening around Central Vancouver Island. We're live at the Shaw Auditorium, and I'll let Kate take it back right now.
Well, thank you, Annette. I think I'm giving everyone a little bit of a break. I don't think that John Rattan had a chance to even register that he is, and of course these are preliminary unofficial results, that John Rattan has been elected for his second term as mayor in Nanaimo with a varied council. George Anderson, I believe, is 20 years old, so we've got quite a demographic and an age range for council in Nanaimo. We are waiting for results from the other Central Vancouver Island municipalities to come on. They are all on the electronic voting system, except for, of course, the District of North Cowichan. They don't expect their beginning results to come in until well after 9 o'clock tonight. Kelly Robinson is standing by in Qualicum Beach, and last I heard, at least the mayoral results were in there, and perhaps there's a little bit of delay, but maybe we'll be lucky enough to get the candidates, the successful candidates there as well. So I'm going to throw things up now to Qualicum Beach and Kelly Robinson.
It's still pretty quiet here right now. There was definitely a silence fall over the gymnasium. And we've got the results for the mayor. It's actually Tunis Westbrook that won with 63.8% of the vote. And the councillor votes are just coming in right now. Of course, there is a silence, and I've already been told to shh. So I'm trying to bring you the results.
Thank you very much, Kelly Robinson. I think we're having some cell phone issues there. I caught little intermittent bits of the reports from there, so I'm not going to reiterate any of what Kelly said. What I hear in my earpiece is very different than what you as a viewer perhaps heard at home. Now, there are people gathering behind me, and I am going to grab Roger McKinnon here to join us on our live coverage of the 2011. How are you doing, Roger?
Absolutely fabulous.
I would like to say congratulations, but is the word condolences?
What's condolences?
How do you feel? You ran. When did you decide to run for mayor?
The day before the applications had to be in, I guess.
Why?
Why? Because, I guess I've been asked for about the last 15 years. So you know what, then I'm going to change. My point was, I found that between me and John, and I'm not, no sour grapes, none whatsoever, mine was you want to change, you want Nanaimo to really get in the map, and let's go. Because most people know me, put your seatbelt on, Roger McKinnon does stuff, let's grow. Or if you want status quo, vote for John, that's kind of what I said. So that's, I think, what happened. And that's fine, let's just go do it. Nanaimo's a nice place to live. I live here, and that's why I stay here.
I know you were perhaps invigorated and encouraged to vote at the Nanaimo's Community Vision Rally a couple months back, even 6 weeks back. Was that a big, that was sort of new talk for Nanaimo. That wasn't something that we had heard the tone of in Nanaimo in past elections.
No, and again, you're right, absolutely. And the point was on that, if you remember, that wasn't brought by council either, and I guess that's what happened. That was brought by the Chamber of Commerce, business people that go do the thing. And I guess that did inspire me, saying, you know what, if you're going to get off your butt and go do something. And then for those that were on Michael Campbell last week, he said, you know what, you can't have politicians running, you can't run cities, run provinces, run countries anymore. You have to have business people. And that's what he said the other night in front of 900 people. In Italy right now, if you're finding, the new government there is all business people. There's not one politician that's running. That's what's hopefully going to help them in Europe get out of their problems. And that's what we're doing. And people, I don't think, really understand what's happening in the world these days and how much trouble the economics is in. And that's what I do for a living. So, you know what? Everybody does. And, I am not, no sour grapes, like I said. Congratulations to John. We had fun. I had a blast. And it was really good. And it was a nice, clean campaign. That's all I cared about. We didn't sling mud, didn't do anything else. And that's the best part that I like it. And I did have a lot of fun. So.
Now, is this sort of a starting point for you to become more involved? If it takes the citizens and the business leaders in a community to make change and create vision, are you still one of those visionaries that council will be interacting a lot with, as though you're not already?
Well, I have been. Go back over 20 years ago, I was vice chair of Imagine and I'm with Joy Leach Day. So, it's hard to say. Are they ready for me? As most people know,
I think we're ready for you, Roger.
I scare a lot of people, and that's one reason this time I didn't win, because a lot of people don't know, and it's like, get things done, and I do. I'm very opinionated. I go out, and talk to a lot of people, find out what I think the way to run places are, and I'm sure that staff at City Hall is a little afraid, what the heck's Roger going to do about this? And it's not. Let's run it. Let's have some fun and run like, we can't just keep raising taxes every year just because that's what everyone else does. No, that's wrong. So my point is no. So, I got to sit back and look and say what I want to do. Do I want to? I can retire, do whatever I want, but That's not the point. Can I help? Can I do whatever else? But again, do they want Roger's help, or is he going to scare the hell out of them? So,
What's the biggest challenge City Council faces, do you think, the new council coming in?
well, we've got most of the same people in there anyway, so I guess they just got to go do what they think they're doing now anyway. Their biggest one right now is really going to work on that wet house issue, and they don't solve that, they're still going to have the people mad at them doing whatever else, and they haven't stopped and thought about it logically and said, how do you put one of those homes next to the biggest retirement home the biggest retirement and $60 million they spent, and if 100 people leave, they're going to lay off 60 people that are actually paying jobs to house 40 people. We got to help on how we go do that. So that's, I think, one of the big issues, and how we can get back people in Nanaimo say that we're business friendly, because we're not. So how do we get out there? And mine is, like you said, my big one is welcome the world to do whatever else, because that's my attitude. Because you've known me a long time, I'm the happiest guy in the world, and I've done very well in business, and I like it, and I have lots of fun. All I'll do is spend, like I do now, 50% of my days on charity work, and I'll get the Blair McKinnon Foundation going harder than I do now.
Roger, thank you very much. Thank you for throwing your name in the hat, and maybe we'll see you in the Civic Arena in the future. You never know. You are watching Shaw TV's 2011 live election coverage. We are at the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in downtown Nanaimo. We are waiting for results from some of the other municipalities. We had expected them to come in a little bit faster or perhaps a little bit clearer. We did hear from Kelly Robinson earlier. We'll work on getting you those results as well. It looks like Annette Lucas is standing by. I'm taking a risk, and I'm throwing things up to Annette.
Thank you very much, Kate. No risk here. We actually are going to go back and visit with Kelly Robinson, who is in Qualicum Beach, who has the full results in, and this time we've got a clearer line, so we'll find out what happened in that community.
Hi, guys. Well, I can talk a little bit easier now. The Qualicum Beach Center here, the results are in, and it was definitely really quiet when they were coming in. I got shushed and not wanted me to say any of the results. Anyways, the mayor is Tunis Westbrook, and he came in with 2,608 votes. And his competitor, Mike Wansink, was 1,478. The council members, leading the council is Bill Luckmeyer, 2,615 votes, followed by Mary Brule. She's the incumbent, the only returning council member to the group. And then there is Dave Willey. He is followed by Scott Tanner. Dave Willey had 2,041 votes. Scott Tanner was 1,981 votes. They are saying that it is a good voter turnout here. There was 55.3% for the voter turnout, and it looks like Tunis Westbrook is going to be taking his 5th consecutive term in the mayor's seat. And I throw things back to the Shaw Auditorium for our live election coverage. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you much, Kelly Robinson. It looks like Tunis Westbrook can continue enjoy from the mayor's seat the beach that he loves so much in Qualicum Beach. And I guess that aside from the issue of health care, looking for a health care facility to serve the large elder population in Qualicum Beach, actually, it is the #1 population it has the oldest population in Canada, is what I'm trying to say, in Qualicum Beach. And I do live in that area, and I find that a little bit I don't know if that's a bit skewed, because I guess it depends on what circles you travel, but I do know a lot of young parents out there with young families and babies, and it isn't just the older people in Qualicum Beach, but it looks like things will continue to remain status quo out there. But things are changing in Nanaimo. We are still waiting for results to come in from the other municipalities on central Vancouver Island. A newcomer to Nanaimo, George Anderson, and Annette Lucas has an interview with him.
Thank you very much, Kate. And I am standing with George Anderson, who is the youngest councillor to be elected for 2011. How do you feel, George?
Oh, it's great. It seems Nanaimo really wants some new ideas and perspectives, and that's what we ran our campaign on. We really wanted some positive energy, and also it seems that the community wants a collective vision for us to move forward. And I'm ready to listen and respond to the residents to actually get things done for the next 3 years.
Now, some of the campaign things that you were running on was transparency, but also working for the people. Now, let's expand on one of those ideas that you really want to see change.
Well, one of the things I really want to see is making sure that our councillors are willing to listen and respond, and that's one of the things that hasn't happened in the last 3 years, that we had Jerry Berry $480,000 severance package, and we tell people you're old enough to pay taxes, but you're not old enough to know why we're spending your tax dollars. So that's something that I want to see, is making sure that we have councillors who are going to listen and respond to the people.
Okay. A couple of new faces, and there's some ones that are returning again there. Now, this is going to be a very new experience for you working on with all these in council. Have you been sitting on some of the meetings, things that are going on in the town?
Yes, I have. I've sat in on a couple of bylaw hearings and also council meetings, and I'm ready to work for the people of Nanaimo.
All right, and now looking to how you see Nanaimo changing in the next couple of years.
Well, I think that's really up to the people and what they want to have happen. So what I'm going to do is going to go out to the people of Nanaimo and see what they want and then try and make that happen over the next 3 years.
Now you have said that there's a lot of vision for Nanaimo, and obviously that's why you ran, because you're dedicated and you want to see change. Congratulations and good luck over the next 3 years.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to throw back to Kate Bergen, who is standing in another area of the auditorium with some live results. We've had a sweeping change, not so in Nanaimo, but we're getting results from other areas in central Vancouver Island, and perhaps Kate has an update for us.
Thank you very much, Annette Lucas. Yes, it's getting a little bit crazy, which of course is when the fun begins. There's a lot of media here. We are proud to be the only television network on Vancouver Island bringing you live results, which we are really trying hard to get to those live results from the different municipalities in the central Vancouver Island region. We are going to throw things now, and Merv Unger's waving to me off camera. We're going to go throw things now to Melissa Hall, who is standing by with some results from Parksville.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the conference center in downtown Parksville, and things are abuzz. The room has filled up with about 50 people or so, and they're all here to get the results firsthand. We got them just a few minutes ago, and with regards to the council seat, 4 of the 5 incumbents are back in office. We have Sue Powell, who came in with 1,926 votes. Then next is Mark Lefebvre with 1,739. Al Greer with 1,607. Then we have Carrie Powell Davidson with 1,400. And that's followed by Bill Neufeld with 1,296. And lastly, Peter Morrison with 1,269. With regards to the mayoral winner, it's Chris Berger. And everyone was absolutely thrilled when they got the results and heard that Chris had won. And we have him here right now to ask a few questions. Our first question to Chris is, how does he feel about becoming the mayor of Parksville?
Well, I feel very relieved. Obviously, this is a very long day. I'm very, very excited, very happy. You know, it's really humbling, actually, when you stand here and you have that level of support. And it just makes me more determined than ever to do the right things and make the right decisions and work with our new council, which is, of course, many of our incumbents, but also a couple of new faces. I think it's going to be a very exciting 3 years ahead.
One of the issues, Chris, that seem to be in the highlight of people's minds is the healthcare facilities. What are you going to do about that? Is that going to be one of the first things you address as the new mayor of Parksville?
Well, you know, it's a provincial project. We've already stated as a council that it's our highest priority, and we're ready. We're waiting basically for a building permit application, and the moment that happens, we'll process it as fast as you'll ever see a city process something like that. And we're going to continue to push, because even this facility, which is a big step up, is still not going to be the complete solution. So we will absolutely continue to press our colleagues in the provincial government to make sure our residents here, not just in Parksville, because we're doing this in partnership with the other communities here, but also in Oceanside, that they have the very best health service.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Chris, and congratulations. And I guess that's about it. Everybody now is sort of leaving the room. They've got the results, and congratulations to all the winners. That's it from Parksville, and we'll go back to you in the Shaw Auditorium there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much, Melissa Hall, reporting via cell phone. We'll get cameras there in 3 years from now if I've got anything to do with it. She's reported, so congratulations in Parksville to Chris Berger. Now, we do have Leonard Krogh, who is the MLA NDP for Nanaimo. Now, what does Leonard have to do with civic politics? Well, in Nanaimo, it seems to be all about supportive housing and low barrier housing. I shouldn't say all about, because there's a lot of people out there who just want new vision, and that is a part of a vision. But why is it such a hot issue, low barrier housing in Nanaimo?
I think it's a hot issue because there was a lot of money behind the campaign opposed to the North End site in particular. And I think if you look at the results of the voting stations in that area of town, clearly there was a strong negative turnout. But I must say, as someone who called for and supported the government's initiative on social housing, I'm delighted with the results of council tonight.
Any criticisms for the number and frequency of in-camera meetings and the lack of transparency? I mean, does it have to be that way?
Look, council can work on making themselves more transparent, but I've never felt personally that it was that big a problem. The fact is, council has to work under certain rules and guidelines. There are some things you can't discuss in public. That's just the way it is. You don't discuss personnel matters. You don't discuss various things. That's what the law requires. But I think this council has shown some leadership on the social housing issue, and I think the results tonight demonstrate that most people in Nanaimo understand the necessity and the need, and as I say, I'm very pleased with the results.
Now, you went to the polls yourself today,
Yes.
and you told me just a moment ago you're almost disappointed that you could only check 8 of those boxes.
Often in campaigns you're stuck with trying to squeeze out the last 2 because I don't personally like plumping, and I know many people do. But this year there were a number of other candidates who, if I had more votes, I would have happily put an X beside them. I would have happily seen them on council. We had a very good crop of people running for council this year. Not as many for school board. A good crop of candidates there. Still waiting the results on that, of course.
Thank you, Leonard.
Thank you.
Feel like a handshake's in order. Thank you very much. And I see from my peripheral that Annette Lucas is standing by ready to go with something. So again, in the nature of live television, where we have thrown the script out the window entirely, we are now throwing things up to Annette Lucas.
Thank you very much, Kate. Now, things happened very quickly here in Nanaimo within a half hour. We knew who was going to be mayor and council. And it's a little bit slower coming from other areas, but we now know what's going on in Duncan. Jen Moranitz is going to tell us who won that race. There was 7 women running for seats on council and 6 men, and 2 going for mayor, Paul Fletcher, Phil Kent. I really want to know what's going on. Jen, what happened in Duncan?
Thanks, Annette. I've been eagerly waiting at the Duncan Fire Hall for results to come in, along with many of the other candidates. And I tell you, leading up to the announcement, the atmosphere could really only be described as eager and excited. But as soon as the results were pulled up on the board, the room went absolutely quiet. For mayor, it was a race between Phil Kent and Paul Fletcher. And with a total of 829 votes, or 69% of the total votes, Phil Kent has been re-elected for a 3rd term in office. A few items on his platform include a new official community plan, a solution to downtown parking, transportation plans, sewage upgrades, and sustainable growth. For council, we have 3 incumbents re-elected: Tom Duncan with 698 votes, Sharon Jackson with 590 votes, and Joe Thorne with 584 votes. There's also 3 fresh faces on council: Michelle Bell with 486 votes, Martin Barker with 472 votes, and Michelle Staples with 444 votes. Last term, 5 out of 6 of the councillors were male. So now that we have a balance of gender, it's really going to be interesting to see if it will have an impact on the decisions made at City Hall. Back to you, Annette and Kate.
Thank you very much, Jen Moranitz in Duncan. The results from the municipalities in the central Vancouver Island region are coming in. Everyone except the District of North Cowichan is on the electronic voting systems, which makes results available to us very quickly. We do understand that Lantzville is ready to report. We have Chad Brennan standing by there, and now Chad Brennan is, I've just been getting a no, not ready to go. Are we ready to go down to Ladysmith? I'm getting a no on that as well. So we'll wait for a thumbs up from our camera operator, Derek Johnstone, and Annette.
Let's just talk about, as far as Ladysmith goes. Sorry, not Ladysmith, as far as Lantzville. Okay, we're just getting the word that Chad is now ready in Lantzville with the results there to tell us who is going to be mayor there. Chad?
Greetings from Lantzville, Coaston Hall with its gym floors and pink and gray walls common in most halls and community centers across the province where the populace of municipal districts have placed their votes. It's been fairly quiet here since 6. We had a chat with Twyla Graff, Deputy Election Officer, who informed us that the peak of voter turnout was this morning from 9:30 a.m. to around 11 a.m. Most of the local residents decided to take advantage of the sunny morning walk to Coaston Hall to place their votes. With the hot issues of Compassion Farms, community development, and the future of Lantzville's water and sewer, voter turnout has been surprisingly less than in 2005. 2005 was the last time Lantzville had a mayoral race when voter turnout hit 51%. This election turnout was down to 44%. A total of 1,273 of 2,888 voters were heard from. The election officials kept the voting process running throughout the day like a Swiss watch, with no incidents to report, and the preliminary results were posted to a quiet panel of election scrutineers, media, and election officials. Filling the mayor's chair will be new mayor Jack de Jong with a total of 711 votes to Colin Hames' 548. The 6 elected councilmen and women, in order of votes received, were new councilwoman Jennifer Milbank leading the pack with 702 votes, incumbent Joe Bratowski with 660 votes, new councilman Graham Savage with 591 votes, incumbent Denise Haim with 574 votes, incumbent Brian Dempsey with 567 votes, and new councilman Andrew Mostad with 549 votes. So Lantzville has voted for a change, as we have a new mayor and 3 new voices on city council. We now head back to the Shaw Auditorium in Nanaimo. This has been Chad Brennan live from Lantzville for Shaw TV.
Thank you very much, Chad Brennan. Just a note there, no relation to Diane Brennan in Nanaimo. Now, wow, that is big news in Lantzville. Colin Haim has been the mayor there since Lantzville was incorporated in 2003. He's had, last year was uncontested, someone run against him the year before that, or the election before that. So big changes in Lantzville, and my network says that the urban farming issue has a lot to do with that. Again, polarization driving people to the polls.
And we thought that was going to happen in a number of areas, and that was a recurring thing here in Nanaimo as well. When people were talking to us after they got elected, that one issue kept coming up, low barrier housing. So, we'll see if that changes thing in other areas we haven't heard from. It looks like we are going to get some results from Ladysmith, and Rayanne LaPlante has got some information for us, what's happening in that community.
Ladysmith is a town with generally a low voter turnout, but tonight it has seen an increase from 23% last year to 30%, thanks to the race for mayor. Rob Hutchins, mayor for the past 18 years, has had no competition since 1999, until this election when Regan Grill, a young entrepreneur and organic farmer, decided to make things interesting. The public has applauded Grill for her enthusiasm and encouraged to run for mayor. I'm currently at Rob Hutchins' home, which is overcrowded with enthusiastic supporters. The energy is high, excitement and tension fills the air. Downstairs, Hutchins is just announcing the news to everyone, that he has won the seat for mayor. Hutchins collected 1,303 votes, with Regan Grill collecting 437. Grill commented earlier saying she's glad that the community was given a choice in this election. One reason she decided to run for mayor is she feels competition creates a flourishing government and gives the public a democracy. It certainly created change in the way Rob campaigned this year. Instead of contributing to the community through local projects, Hutchins went back to the doorsteps of his neighbors to gain a fresh perspective of what the public wanted to see changed. He says it has given him a more diverse outlook of what the town needs and looks forward to spending the next 3 years in office making those things happen. The 6 council members aiding mayor in office have been filled by Steve Arnett, Jillian Dashwood, Bill Drysdale, Gord Horth, Duck Patterson, and Glenda Patterson. I had spoke with Bill Drysdale soon after the results came in and asked what his first move in council would be. With a laugh, he said to educate himself with all the bylaws of the town. Congratulations to all the candidates who participated in this election. All of you should be very proud. Back to you in the Shaw Auditorium in Nanaimo.
We do have final results now from Port Alberni. I'm holding a laptop. We're that high tech here at the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre. Elected to the mayor's chair in Port Alberni, John Douglas, with 2,556 votes. We don't have graphic support for this, so I am going to quickly read off the successful candidates for council seats. Cindy Solda was successful, Rob Cole, Dan Washington, Jack McLemmon, Hira Chopra, and Wendy Lee Kerr. And just a note there that there was one name on the ballot in Port Alberni who had withdrawn, so hopefully there won't be any recounts or hiccups because of that. Imagine someone getting elected who wasn't even actually running.
And that was for the mayor's seat as well, which could basically skew that because there were 4 people on there. So we'll see what happens there. And looking at after those results, we can't also provide results to North Cowichan.
Right, the results in North Cowichan are done manually. It's a process that takes a couple of hours. All the municipalities have been encouraged to post their information on civicinfo.bc.ca. It's very complete, very accurate. It's a non-profit organization that runs that website, and all the municipalities are directed to post the website, their information and their results there as quickly as possible. We were told that the District of North Cowichan is not going to be available. Their mayoral candidates' results are just starting to come in now. It's coming up on 9 o'clock, and then it's going to take an hour or more after that to even get the candidates' results in. And we do have someone on the floor, the town of Ladysmith, just to Just to recap, because the audio on Rayanne there was quite. Everyone around me is laughing right now, rolling on the floor. It's all good. Grassroots here. It looks like Robert Hutchins once again elected to the mayor's seat in Lantzville. Steve Arnett, David Brown, Jillian Dashwood, Bill Drisdale. Gord Horth, Duck Patterson, and Glenda Patterson are the council people in Ladysmith. And we're just about to wrap things up for our live coverage here from the Shaw Auditorium. The room has cleared as everyone moves on to celebrate or have a little bit of a pity party with their supporters.
Thank you very much, Kate. And just another note on North Cowichan. Be interesting to see what happens there, because just this past week, with the 5 vying for the mayor's seat, there was an announcement this week that council has introduced the Industrial Revitalization Tax Exemption Program bylaw, which can grant up to a 10-year property tax exemption in certain circumstances. Now, I wonder if that's going to sway how the voters went, if they went with the same or they got something new going on.
And did they even have time? Because I think you mentioned that announcement just came out on Monday, and we don't even know what the reaction from that community is yet, because it was so quick coming up on today's election.
It might have been very interesting to see what happened there tonight. So we'll look forward to it in the next couple of days.
Annette, thank you. Thank your voice for holding in with us this evening. It sounds like it is getting a little bit sore now?
It's not sore, it's just, it's gone.
You're done.
Yeah,
We're done. We're pretty much finished with our live coverage here from the Shaw Auditorium at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre in Nanaimo. Once again, I will encourage you to visit civicinfo.bc.ca for results in your municipality. Follow us on Twitter. We are connected to the social media network via Twitter. We'll be posting there over the next couple of hours, and you can also follow us on Facebook as well. On behalf of Annette Lucas, I'm Kate Bergen, and to all the crew and everyone who came down to the Shaw Auditorium tonight, thank you so much for watching.